Hello again, Chris Lee and Max Barr, Southeastern 14, here to talk some SEC hoops. We had 3 games Monday night. Boy, we got a lot of big games coming up Tuesday. We won't talk about those today, but I can assure you we will on Wednesday. What we had last night in the SEC, we had Arkansas beating Old Dominion. We also had South Carolina knocking off VMI to stay unbeaten, and Missouri beating SIU Edwardsville. Missouri now 2-1. South Carolina also unbeaten. Before we unpack those with Max, a reminder, our channel is presented by BetOnline. The last of the major pro sports leagues is off and rolling. College basketball is as well. BetOnline remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL, all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, predictions, all those good things, all the hoops betting action, along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE. That is BLEAV in caps for your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts. Well, where we're going to start is in Fayetteville, where Arkansas took down Old Dominion last night in a continuation of some of the high-scoring games we have seen in the SEC so far. Max, what were your big takeaways from Arkansas's 86-77 win over Old Dominion?
This one was sneaky close. Watching this last night, there were a few times where I was like, "Oh my gosh, like is Old Dominion gonna win this game? Like, are they?"
Yeah.
They would claw back in within 5. Um, the big takeaway for me, and you can just tell this by if you just read a box score, but Old Dominion out rebounding Arkansas. That can't happen. You
No.
know, with the amount of bodies Arkansas has. I mean, Chandler Lawson didn't really play much, but Mekhi Mitchell had a double-double. Trayvon Brazile had 4 blocks. So like the post presence is there. Got to rebound better. Got to have better rebounding from your guards and whatnot. And then Old Dominion plus 14 in fast break points. So I didn't like those two things, and neither did Muss. Listen to this quote he had post game. I love Muss. I honestly, all SEC coaches right now, just the way that they're dealing with the media. If you saw Nate Oats's Nate Oats's post game press conference, he was just straight to the point with everything. There's no coach
Yeah.
speak at all. Just straight to the point. This is what Muss said. He goes, "Taking care of the ball, A plus. Defensive rebounding, double F. Transition defense,
Double F.
triple F. Guarding the 3, there's no grade. That's how bad it was." So if you want to know takeaways from the Arkansas game, that's how Muss is taken away from it.
Now I'm a little confused. Is no grade worse than double F or triple
Yes.
F or however far he went with the Fs?
He said transition defense, triple F. Guarding the 3, there's no grade he can give. That's how bad he thought it was.
Wow. Well, it's clear it's hurting Oreo too. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but Oreo is mourning Arkansas's effort on the defensive glass, and boy, is he ever mourning it because this dog does not shut up. One of the hallmarks of Eric Musselman's tenure has been guys disappear from the rotation at times. We've seen it with Jalen Graham, who only played 6 minutes last night. I'm interested to see what that rotation looks like going forward. Let's see, their leading rebounder last night would have been Tremont Mark with 6. I'm sorry, Mekhi Mitchell had 10.
Mitchell
He
had
played
10,
29 minutes. So I'm very curious as to what message Eric Musselman sends next time out with this team, because he used that press conference as an opportunity to get out there, and
Yep.
he can use the bench to motivate too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Arkansas, one of the reasons that Blake and I liked them so much in this offseason was just the amount of bodies they have. Uh,
Mhm.
Al Ellis scores 15 of his 17 in the second half. It's just nice that you can afford for guys to kind of, you don't like it, but you can afford for guys to kind of show up and not show up because of the amount of guys you have. It's not like just like a tight 7-man rotation. But that can also hurt you at times when you do need guys to show up and they don't. Uh, Next up, though, for Arkansas is a good test with UNCG. Greensboro's got a good program. They actually play Vandy tonight. So
Yeah.
Arkansas fans, if you want to get a good look at your next opponent, it'll be a good game too. The line is at I think the spread is 2 points, 1 point, 2 points. Um, so UNCG, you'll get a good look at them tonight. And I'm looking for what is this the backcourt, we kind of know what it's going to look like now. With Devo and Tremont Mark are pretty much going to be playing almost the whole game, and then you have L. Ellis and Battle as the spark plug. Kind of know what this front court is just giving me questions. I mean, with I have you don't know who's getting minutes in the front court on any given night. It's kind of matchup based, and I don't know how to shake
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah, he's been doing this for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
The Greensboro game will be interesting. Greensboro's got a backcourt of twins that are fifth-year guys
they're
at
good.
same school. So how often do you see fifth-year starting backcourt, same place, twins? So these kids have played together a little bit, and yeah, experience and continuity means a lot. Anything else on the Razorbacks before we move on to our next game here?
Not too much, but just next, you'll get a good test out of UNCG here on Friday. It'll probably be the best opponent yet.
Yeah. All right. Missouri defeats SIU Edwardsville 68-50. Not really the type of game I
Yeah.
thought we'd see. Missouri's defense has been the question under Dennis Gates. Offense, I mean, these guys feel like they can score with anybody. Maybe a little bit of hangover from the Memphis game, perhaps here. It was 38-31 at half and 30-19 in the second half. I expected a little bit of a different outcome, certainly more points on Missouri's side.
Yeah, this was a weird game if you watched it. It was just real scrappy, no flow. Neither team could get on a long extended run. It was weird to watch. I had a weird feeling watching it. But hey, the defense looked good, and the defense has been something that's been of question. I mean, SIUE is not the best competition, but it's a nice result. 50 points is the fewest Dennis Gates has allowed at Missouri. That's his lowest
Mm,
total under the Dennis Gates era. They held him to 12.5% in the second half. I mean,
goodness.
12.5% over 20 minutes is pretty solid defensive stretch. Um, and then hey, how about this? Sean East, first player since 2007 to lead Missouri in scoring for each of the first 3 games. Do you know
Mm.
who the player was in 2007 that was last to do that for Mizzou?
Oh goodness, that's been a long time.
I didn't
I do
know it.
not.
It's Damari Carroll. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I should have known that. Who spent his time at Vanderbilt for a couple of years under Kevin Stallings before he
yep,
transferred there to play for his uncle.
that's where I knew him. I forgot he was at Missouri. Um,
Yeah.
but Sean East, look at this: 6 of 10 from three. Last year, he only made 15 the whole year. So I
Wow.
mean, hey, how about have yourself a little start to the year here, Sean East? And Tanji's finally healthy, got double-digit minutes for the first time this year. So, yeah, scrappy effort, but I mean, still, hey, you won by 17 and you bounced back from the tough loss. You got the defense with a nice little bit of momentum here. I can't take too much away from it because it's a poor opponent, but not a bad result.
Yeah, my question with them is it's do they have the guys who can step up and be premium scorers the way they had 2 or 3 guys that could do that last year? These are supporting guys mostly, Carter, East, Honor, and I don't know. I mean, I wondered. It felt like they answered that question affirmatively on opening night with all the points they scored, but it was also Arkansas Pine Bluff, if I
Right.
recall correctly. So I still have that question a little bit. Interesting. Tamar Bates only played 19 minutes on Monday, and he only had 2 fouls, so that wasn't the issue.
Yeah, this is a rotation that's kind of up in the air also. There's a few other SEC teams that are just kind of floating around right now because I mean, they don't have Vanover. You're getting Tanji. You're trying to work John Tanji back into not back into because he's just starting, but into the lineup. Coming off of a little bit of a preseason injury, so it's just like Gates doesn't really have a rock solid rotation right now, and it can kind of tell that the offense has a little bit of there's not a lot of continuity right now. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's not that NBA level talent on the offensive end.
All right. Anything else with Missouri?
Next up, another big game for them. They go This is on Thursday also, so we get a quick turnaround here for Missouri. They go to Minnesota, go up north to play Minnesota.
Hmm.
Ken Pom has that as a 1-point game. And I know don't put too much into early season analytics, but they have a good predictive system and should be a close game there up in Minnesota.
Yeah, Ken Palm right now is weighted, I think, for the first 20 games or so, a lot towards last season
Yeah, I don't like to
in your
put too much
history.
into it.
Yeah, so we'll see that settle out, and that's a good segue to where I was going to go, Max. I feel like, and I know you guys share this opinion because I listened to your podcast that you did with Blake on, I think, Sunday. It's starting to feel like South Carolina might be a little bit better than we thought Carolina might be. One thing I noted before the season, tons of experience on this team in terms of guys that had played college basketball, not necessarily at South Carolina, but at other places. Talon Cooper at Minnesota, Miles Studi at Vandy, and then last night, BJ Mack, who played at Wofford, led them with 17 and 13. South Carolina beats VMI 74-64 and now moves to 3-0.
I love BJ Mack. I did not get a ton of. I did not look at a ton of him at Wofford. I knew of him, but man, I really like BJ Mack. Little bit of a segue here. I was watching NC State Creighton March Madness first round, and I had NC State because I really liked DJ Burns for NC State. If you know DJ Burns, he's got a very
Played at
similar
Tennessee.
body type as BJ Mack, very similar. Like they almost look alike. And I liked that because he would force Kalkbrenner to catch the ball farther out with his size, his weight. Solid, solid. You're not going to push this guy around. I like that a lot with BJ Mack. I see the same thing. He's going to be able to go up against any big man in the SEC, and he's not getting bullied. He might be a little bit of a talent, a little bit lower. He's coming from a mid-major. Still yet to see, him against a really, really good opponent. But man, BJ Mack is got Josh Gray's not playing right now. You can't take BJ Mack off the floor with how good he's been. So that's just I did not expect him to be that good. He's an
Yeah.
anchor. He's an anchor in the paint.
They've got next DePaul, another
Paul.
game that's very winnable. The
Very
Virginia
winnable.
Tech game, I thought that was a little bit of a test,
Yeah.
but because I thought with the way Virginia Tech can score, I didn't know if South Carolina could keep up, but it did. Notre Dame, winnable game. George Washington, winnable. They get to that point, they might be 6-0 playing Clemson.
I was just gonna say that Clemson might be their only loss of the non-conference, and that'll be a
It
good
could
game.
be. I don't know who's going to be favored against them as I look down their schedule. No, look, they're not taking a world beaters, but still.
And listen, I want to say this too, because people are going to look at this box score and say, "Oh my gosh, they only won by 10." It's a VMI. Like, pump the brakes. They were dominating this game. If you watch the game, it was a little bit close at times, but VMI went on a 10-2 run with like a minute left to close the gap. It was out to like 16 with a few minutes left. And Michi Johnson went 4 of 16 from the floor, and he only played like 20 minutes. So he had like a very poor shooting night. Still didn't matter. South Carolina last year, that would really matter for this team if Michi Johnson went 4 and 16.
No, to be fair, VMI is supposed to be one of the worst teams in the country. Bart Torvik has him, I think, dead last at 362.
Oh gosh.
Ken Palm's got him 349. So, like, even at that, I think you have to. I get it. Sometimes you're up 20 in the game, but that's one Carolina should have taken care of business in. I mean, to me, the bigger takeaway, they win a big game against Virginia Tech. Maybe that's the hangover before you get another. I'm not going to call DePaul a big boy, but from a bigger conference, certainly
Right.
the VMI is from. So I guess I'm making excuses for him. But the bottom line, they're 3-0. They crushed the South Carolina upstate team that led Vandy, I think, in the second half. And so, yeah, I mean, Gamecocks are 3-0, and I think on the whole got to be fairly happy with where they are.
And hey, Talon Cooper, 17 assists, 1 turnover through 3 games. So the transfers are really making a difference.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a minute since they had a really good point guard.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm forgetting somebody. But in any case, all right, power rankings coming up on our channel. We'll have recaps on Wednesday of Tuesday's games. And boy, there are some games for sure. We got Kentucky, Kansas, and what do we got? 7 or 8 games total. So we'll be here for you for that. Best way to get it, hit the subscribe button. If you hit the like button, that helps our analytics. For Max Barr, and follow us on Twitter at the handles you see below. For Max Barr, I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14, presented by Bet Online. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.